Just like fire, burning up the way. If I can light the world up for just one day, watch this madness, colorful charade. No one can be just like me anyway. Just like magic.
7:37 on TSN 690. It's Weekend Game Plan. I am your host, Matthew Ross. 11690, by the way, is the text box if you want to weigh in on our next subject. At Matthew Words on Twitter, if you want to weigh in there. Our thanks to, we were just talking about the Habs. Thanks to Stuart Brooks for listening and saying that, yes, he would like to see Galchenyuk alongside Drouin and Pacioretty. During the break, or one of the earlier breaks here in the program, I caught something on Twitter. Admittedly, I probably should have seen it earlier, but thanks to Sean Dern at CJD Newsroom, just looking at his Twitter, he had a poll. Should the Olympic Stadium be considered a heritage site? Yes or no? I'm going to take a deep breath. I'm going to try not to blow out the microphone. But the answer is an emphatic no. What? What are you talking about? The Olympic Stadium is a heritage site? I'm not talking about the tower. I'm talking about the actual stadium? No. You can't highlight, you can't bestow a positive honor on what is literally the albatross on the neck of collective Montrealers, on what is literally the bane of our existence from a taxpayer perspective. There is nothing good about the Olympic Stadium. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. It's a relic. It's outdated. It's uncomfortable. It's hard to get into. I've never... You want to talk about the phrase concrete jungle. That's what the Olympic Stadium is. It takes you an hour and a half to get into the building. Okay? You go to PNC Park in Pittsburgh, you're on the sidewalk, you open up the gate, you're pretty much in the stadium. That's how it works there. You cannot honor the stadium as a heritage site when it's one of the reasons we don't have baseball anymore. There is nothing positive about the Olympic Stadium. The stories of corruption in helping to build it, the decades and decades of taxes that were paid, the chunks falling off of it and costing the Expos home games and endangering the safety of workers. Remember the auto show, the roof collapsing? What are we talking about here? Losing the roof in storage. They couldn't find the roof when they were trying to put it in the tower for the retract. Do you remember that when you guys were young? But I was actually at a game, guys, in the late 80s when there was a rain delay and they said, hey, look at that. We got the actual roof up in the tower. We can lower it now. I think it took like 45 minutes for them to lower. And then the rain delay was over at that point. They could have just played baseball. That actually happened, and then they say, well, we can't put this thing back up. That's a lot of effort. It could, we need some more pulleys. No, let's just leave it on. And that's the way it stayed. So this is not something that you can put a nice little plaque on and celebrate and give a round of applause. Okay, this is not something positive. This is something that's going to require, get this is a fact, hundreds of millions of dollars to stay operational for their 9 events a year. And by the way, the Blue Jays preseason games, that's coming to an end. That contract is done at the end of this spring. So who knows if they come back? It is a piece of crap. It is an ashtray. It is not something that any Montrealer should ever have to set foot in, let alone honor. Are you kidding me? You cannot honor the Olympic Stadium as a heritage site. You want to honor the tower only? Fine. I'm not interested in going up something that's curved and dangling and looking out over what? What are we looking out over? The East End, the marvelous attractions of the East End? I don't think so. This is not some hundreds of millions of dollars they want to have to fix it up even more. Like the cost of half the cost of a brand new stadium, we're going to put into putting a piece of crap roof on, which will probably need more renovations in 10 years after that. This is crazy. This is insane. You're going to put a what they're going to call a permanent roof made up of what? What's it going to be made up of? Like tarp that you can get at Canadian Tire? And we're going to spend like $300-400 million on that when a new ballpark's going to cost half that? What are we talking about here? Because we can't blow it up, we have to keep sinking money into? Who's the stupid city councilor who says, oh yeah, what can we do? No, where's the innovative progressive mind out there that says, no, This is not happening. This is not correct. There's something wrong with throwing bad money after bad money when we could build something new and attract people too. U2 had to build their own stadium to perform here. Are we nuts? What's going on here? A brand new stadium somewhere could have concert after concert. It could have Just for Laughs. You don't think Dave Chappelle or Chris Rock could fill a brand new stadium outdoors in July for an outdoor comedy event? We're not just talking about musical acts here. We're not just talking about baseball. This is absolutely insane to me that they're going to put a plaque on this thing and honor it and keep it forever. I don't know. I'm running out of anger here. I'm running out of steam, Dave.
I used to be hugely biased against the Olympic Stadium because I grew up watching the Expos there. So to me, it was a very exciting thing to go back to the Olympic Stadium when we first went back for the Blue Jays. But now that I've been there a few times again, the nostalgia is kind of gone, and yeah, I'm kind of over it.
Oh, really? The smell of dirty concrete and
no
stained
cell,
metal,
no cell service,
that hasn't done it for you, really?
Yeah.
Really? Walking over giant steps because they were funny and a novelty in the 70s? Outdoors around that hasn't done it for you either, really?
No, we're due for a new stadium. I could go for a new stadium. How about you guys? Yeah.
I'm always stunned when tourists come to Montreal and it's listed in their tourist guide. One of the things to see is the Olympic Stadium. And I've had this debate with so many people coming to the city, so many Montrealers, on the list of 100 things, on the list of 1,000 things to do in the city. The Olympic Stadium shouldn't crack it. There are so many restaurants and sights to see. I'm with you, Matt. I don't get as outraged as you do when it comes to the Olympic Stadium. I just think it's a disappointment. I mean, I remember stories of back when my grandfather helped build it, first generation Italian immigrant. He used to get paid to show up with a truck, cash on arrival, to dump off cement, to dump off sand. Instead of dumping it off, he would just drive through, do a tour of the block, come back in, take more cash, do the tour of the block, come back in, more cash. It was a scam. I mean, hey, it paid for a house in NDG, but
wow.
this is the point of being that this isn't something that we should be honoring. It's part of our history. It's not great. It's not bad. It's just part of our history. We should be moving forward.
All right, we got some texts coming in. Olympic Stadium should be deemed a horrible sight by David. Let's celebrate the stadium when they bring it down. That's Mark in LaSalle. And I got a tweet that's concerned about my well-being. This is from Dean Chiquan. Breathe, Matthew.
That's good advice.
Wow, I'm just incredulous. I cannot believe...
I don't see this going through, to be honest.
I'm just impressed. I mean, look here. The Montreal Canadiens won their first game of the preseason. It seems like everyone was, living the good life once again, a collective sigh of relief. And then this morning, he got all riled up again, Matt.
What's next? Are we going to honor streets that haven't cracked yet? The concrete? I mean, where's our bar?
One.
We're lowering our heritage bar here, okay? St. Joseph's Oratory, heritage site, right?
Right.
Olympic Stadium, same thing, right? It's on par, right? It's considered, it's revered, right? The same way.
Yeah. I read apparently it was to honor the vision of Jean Drapeau. That's the reason they wanted it as a heritage.
Honor Epcot Center, okay? Honor, I don't know.
Il Saint Hélène. I mean, to me, that's way more his vision than...
In Montreal, what we should be honoring in terms of heritage sites are construction cranes. That's a heritage site here
orange pylons
in Montreal.